Let us try to solve the exercise number 7 in the part A of DBMS lab. In this particular exercise, we are supposed to create a table called as stock detailed. This table contains product number, product name, and quantity available. And we are supposed to store the details of computer accessories in this table. And this table, we are supposed to specify the primary key, not null constraint. Also, they have said that the quantity available should be a positive number. So let's go ahead and let's create the first part first. So we are going to solve it by part. So we are going to first create this one. And this is followed by a PLSQL program. We are supposed to create a PLSQL program. So first, let's create this part. I'm going to go ahead and I have my notepad with me. I'm going to go to the languages, specify SQL as my language, and we are supposed to create a table. So I'm going to create a table. So I say create table, and in the name of this table is given as stock detail. So I'm going to just copy them from here, and we are supposed to create few fields inside that. Let me get those fields there. And the fields that we are supposed to create is the quantity available, product name, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and let's create them. So this is the first field, product number is the first field, and product name is the second field, and quantity available is the third field. Product number, let it be number itself. I assume that I will not type more than 5 digits. And I assume that this is primary key because they said we are supposed to create a primary key. In the question, they have said that we are supposed to create a primary key and not null and so on and so forth. So let's go with the product name. I'm going to assume that this is varchar with 25 characters, 25 character, and it is not null. So you cannot specify it as null. And quantity available, let me assume that this is number, and maximum is 3 digits. Okay, and let me assume that this is also not null. However, they have specified one constraint. And what is the constraint that they have specified is quantity available should be a positive number. So let me put a check constraint on this one. So I'm going to say check the quantity available should be greater than 0. Remember, it is not equal to 0. It is greater than 0. Equal to 0 means 0 is not a positive number. So remember that. Okay, they said you are supposed to put a positive number here. So that is what they have said. It is positive number. So 0 is not included because 0 is a neutral number, not a positive number. So what is the significance of this? Significance of this is quantity cannot be 0. So that means you can't have the meaning of it is you can't have out of stock, that is a 0 stock in your stock book. Let's try to describe this table. So to describe this table, describe and stock detail. So most of the students don't do this during the examination. You're supposed to describe the table, whether you like it or not. So remember that you don't write that describe the table name, which is considered to be bad. Okay, so you're supposed to do that. So let's insert a few values into this stock detail. Okay, and let's start with the product number. So I assume that the product number is 101. This is a pen drive. So they have said, if you look at here, they have said computer accessories. So we are supposed to get details of computer accessories. So I assume that it's the pen drive. Okay, and the stock is, let's say you have 30 pen drives with you. So this first part, if you notice, first part will go here, product number, second part will go to the product name, and the third part will go to the quantity available. So three things are going to come. I'm going to copy paste this 3 more times so that we can add 4 records altogether. During the examination, if you go 3 or 4 or 5 is enough. So these are all primary keys, 102, 103, 104, 105. This is primary key. Then I'm going to say this is a hard drive. Okay, This is a CD drive. This is a floppy drive. Now I don't know who is going to use the floppy drive. And the last one is a STD drive, solid state device. This, let's say this is 20, this is 10, this is say again 12, and this is 35. Let's say you have few items there. Let me run a select statement on that. Select a star from the stock detail. So this is what we are supposed to do it. I'm going to create this table. I'm going to just copy this whole thing, Control C from here, and I'm going to go to the Oracle, and I'm going to log into the Oracle, and then I'm going to paste this whole thing. Let me go to the SQL workshop and then SQL commands. Let me paste it over here, and I'm going to select this thing, run it, assume that there is no error. And this is very important during the examination. Most of you are not doing this. You're supposed to describe that table. So describe the table, and then you go ahead with the insertion, or maybe after insertion you can also do it. So insert the first row, insert the second row, insert the third row. 5 records are enough, and during the examination at least write 2 insert statement. Sometimes they say write all the 5 insert statement. If they say all the 5, you write it. Otherwise, at least 2 insert statement are required. Again, some of you are not doing this one. After that, you need to have a select star from the table. So just show the content of the table. This is required during the examination. It may not make any significance in real life, but during the examination, you are supposed to do these things. Let's go ahead with the next part. And what is the next thing that they have said? They said that we are supposed to create a PLSQL program that has exceptions. So how do you create a PLSQL statement? Now remember, general format of the PLSQL is you start with the declaration. So you say declare, and then you have begin, and finally you have end. This is it. But if there is exception, like what they have said here, there is going to be an exception. So if there is an exception, this statement is going to come, exception. This has to be there. My throat has some problem. Okay, exception has to be there. So this is required. So this general format has to be there. At least write this thing during the examination. If you are getting very low mark, they will give 1 mark for this itself. Just you know the structure, even though they are not supposed to give it, but they are good people, and they are going to give you. They know that you have at least the structure of this particular thing. So let's go ahead and let's look at what else is required. So there must be an exception called as a low stock. This is an exception that is required. So let me create an exception. In the declarations section, I'm going to create a low underscore. Let me copy it from there, whatever they have said. So this is what they have said, low stock. Let me copy it from whatever spelling they have used, low stock. This is of type exception. Okay, so at least you have studied C program. In C program, you used to write int x, where int is a data type and x is the variable. Here low stock is the variable, exception is the data type. It is the other way around. This comes here, this goes here. Okay, so you write it in the other way around. Now that int x is not required, it may create some problem. Okay, so this is what you have. So this one line is over. Okay, validate syntax, and program facilitate the user to purchase the product by providing product number and quantity. So if you just read these 2 things, so facilitate the user to provide these things. Okay, so what are the 3 things that the user is providing? One is the product number. Okay, other one is the quantity required. So let's create variables for these 2 things. So I'm going to create a few variables. One is the product number. Okay, I'm not going to use a P number because you know that P number is already used in the database and you may get confused. And what is the data type of it? Data type of it is number. which is fine. I'm going to take the same data type because anyhow I have to refer to the database, is it not? So this is one. And then is what is the next thing that they are going to ask is a quantity required. I'm going to use the variable q required. Okay, if you want, you write it full, or you req, you can also write it. So quantity, if you notice, I taken the quantity as number 3 here in the database definition. I've taken the quantity available. The data type is number 3. I'm going to take the same data type. It is data type 3. Okay, so this is done. We are supposed to put a semicolon after every thing. Let me go here and let me put the semicolon even for that. Okay, let's look at the next thing. Okay, it should display an error message, no sufficient stock, when the user tries to purchase the quantity which is more than the quantity available. So the required quantity, if it is more than the available quantity, then you have to raise an exception. So this is as good as that. So if you have 10 items and suppose somebody demands for 20 items, you don't have 20 items, you have only 10 items with you. So you say there is no stock. So same thing. So I am going to create one more variable. Let me copy paste this itself. Control C, and I'm going to say quantity available, q available. This is the available quantity with me. Okay, so this is what is required. Let's write the procedure now. Let's write the PLSQL program now. And what is that they are asking here in this particular program is facilitate the user to provide these two things. What are these two things? Product number and quantity required. So how we are supposed to ask the user, tell me what is the product number. So I'm going to say product number equal to, and if you are using the web based, if you are using this, okay, it is colon, otherwise you use the ampersand. So depending upon which version you are using, if you are using black and white, use the ampersand. Okay, if you are still living in black and white world, use the ampersand. Otherwise if for colored people, use this one. So suppose those who are using colored, if you didn't really get it, there are some people who are still in the cave ages and they like to type the whole thing in the command prompt. Okay, but such a struggle is not really required because you have the GUI with you. Windows is providing you with the better GUI, and you can always use them, and you can easily get the marks during the examination. So let me give a prompt. I'm going to say enter. Let's say enter, okay, product number. So this is one. Similarly, I'm going to say q required equal to, I'm going to say enter quantity, say quantity, you can say quantity required, but during the examination that may be too much. Okay, so if you just write this, what is going to happen? If you're wondering what is going to happen, I'm going to just copy this thing. I have not completed the program, but just to copy it and see whether I get this one running. So I'm going to just run it. Okay, and this is what you are going to see. So you wrote here, enter the product required. That's going to come here. Enter the product number. Then you said enter quantity, and that's going to come enter quantity. Two things are going to come. Whatever you type here, 101, if you type here, that 101, where is this 101? 101 will be stored in the product number, this variable. Okay, if you type the quantity, say 30, 39, whatever it is, you type the quantity, it's going to be stored in the queue required. So this one will going to come here, and okay, so whatever you write here will be shown as a label with you. Okay, so that is what it's going to happen. I'm going to just submit it. There is nothing is going to happen. Your program will end without doing anything. Okay, that's okay. We don't have anything else to be done here. But I got an exception. Encountered the symbol n when expecting the and so on and so forth. Okay, let's not bother about it because our program is not complete. Okay, let's not worry about the error messages now. What is that we are supposed to do it? Okay, so when you ask somebody, so let me run it again. When you ask somebody to give the product number, okay, so they can write product as 0 or -5. Give me minus 35 items. Which, how can you give minus 35 items? Okay, it's not possible. So you have to check whether the quantity required, this is the one that they are giving you, whether this quantity required, this is going to come here. So whether this quantity required, whether it is negative. If it is negative, you have to raise an exception saying that such a thing is not allowed. So I'm going to check if, okay, I'm going to say Q required is greater than 0, then I'm going to take action. Then I'm going to do something. Okay, that's for sure. Okay, else if it is less than 0, I'm going to use an output statement. How do you give the output statement? You're going to say DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. Am I writing everything properly? So DBMS underscore output put line, and I am going to say that quantity must be positive. Okay, some message to the user. So if they write minus, I'm going to do that thing. Now suppose I'm going to get an exception, I suppose. Let me run that without exception. Let me run that. I'm going to just remove that exception from here. Let me close this one, and let me go ahead and Control A, Control V. I'm going to just run it. I'm not sure whether I get an exception or not. I'm going to put the quantity as -4, and I must get at least not anything encountered else. Okay, I have not completed. If you complete type else here, you must say end if this. Let me complete this part. Okay, I cannot confuse the Oracle itself by typing half the things. So let me copy this and just run it. Control A, Control V, and let me run it. And I have the same thing. If not anything, what is it? I'm getting else must encounter the symbol else when expecting the following. Okay, begin. What is that? I have typed. Okay. I think I may not be able to run this one. Half-baked product may not run altogether. I think I'm missing something. Am I missing something? So it should have worked with this. Let me just check 1 second. Encountered else symbol when expecting the following. Begin case. Oh, here there is nothing is there. Okay, so now what to do? Let me here, because nothing is there, it is just saying that you wrote if without anything. Let me complete that and let me do that thing. Now suppose if the quantity required is greater than 0, okay, then what is that you are supposed to do it? So you have your table. Let me go back to the Oracle here and let me show you that. So I wanted to show you the output, but it's giving me a lot of trouble. It is just saying that you're not completed. You're typing half the program and you expect me to show all these things. So I don't want it to complain me about that. Now this is it. This is the data. Now suppose if the user is saying that I want some quantity, and if the quantity is suppose when I run this one, let me come back. I have to run this one. Okay. without all this if statement and all this statement, I'm going to just run this one. I will get some exception, no doubt. I'm going to just run this one, and I got this prompt. Okay, now suppose this is your database and this is your product. Suppose, let's assume that the quantity is positive, everything is proper. So what this person has said is okay, I want the product number 101, that is here 101 product number, and quantity available, there are 30 items are there. I want 5 items. So you have to subtract 30 minus 5, and what is remaining is 25. You have to update it. Okay, if you are selling 5 items, then reduce from 30, reduce 5, and you are supposed to have this one. So let's first find out how many items are there. So this person is saying that I want the product number 101, I want 5 items, but we don't know how many items are there. So first try to get this, how many items are available with us, then we can compare and then say whether we will go ahead or not. Okay, so this is what we are going to do it. Now if the quantity required is positive, that means if you look at here, he or she has given the quantity positive item. I want 5 items, 10 items, anything. I want a positive item. In that case, we just go with the select statement. We are going to select the quantity available, because we must know how many items are there. How many items are available with us, whether it is 30, 10, 20, whatever it is, how many are there in the stock. That is what we are going to take it. So we are going to select quantity available into the variable that I have just created. If you notice that I have created the variable queue available, I'm going to store it in the queue available. Okay, from my stock table, what was the name of this stock details table? What is the condition? What is the condition? Product number. So this number, say when somebody says I want this item, we have to compare. If it is 101, this is the product number. If it is 105, this is the product number. So you, depending upon what product number is specified, you have to check whether that product number is there in the database. So we are going to say where product number is equal to the product number that is specified by the user. So what is the product number that the user is specifying? So this product number, whatever user is specifying, you know very well, it's going to be stored in this prod number. So I'm going to compare that product number with the product number which is there in my database. Now I have to check the quantity. So when I run this particular query, I am going to get the quantity available. Okay, so I'm going to get the quantity available. How many items are available, whether it is 30, whether it is 10, whether it is 12, I'm going to get that quantity which is available. If this quantity available is greater than the quantity that they are demanding, okay, then you can give it. If suppose say they say I want 40 items, in that case what you will do, you are having only 10, 30 items, you can't sell that. You will say we don't have such so many stock items, you come later. Okay, so this is what you are going to say. Here we can say that we are supposed to raise an exception. So if I'm going to say if the quantity required, okay, is greater than, okay, the what is it? Not quantity, it's what is this quantity required, I said that quantity available, what is this, if the quantity available is other way also you can do it, but I said the other way around. If it is less than, okay, I'm going to just type the less than that. I'm going to say what is the problem you may encounter. If the quantity available is less than the quantity required, okay, then okay, we are supposed to raise an exception. So look at here. What they are saying? Okay, if Okay, quantity required. It should provide a no sufficient stock, this error. Okay, when the user tries to purchase a product with the quantity more than the quantity available. So what is the meaning of it is, okay, that is what I should have written it. So if the quantity required, okay, I will do it in the other way around, what they have said. If the quantity required is more than the quantity available, if the quantity required is greater than quantity available, okay, you can write it in the other way around also. There is nothing wrong, but I will go according to their statement. If the quantity required is greater than quantity available, then you are supposed to raise an exception. So that is what they say. We are supposed to raise exception. Which is the exception? Low stock exception. You are supposed to raise the exception. Okay. Otherwise, you go ahead with the transaction. Otherwise, you are supposed to update. Otherwise, you sell the item. What is the meaning of saying selling the item? If you sell 5 items out of this, what will be the remaining? 30 minus 5 will be 25. Otherwise, you sell the item. So, this is simple as that. So, else you update. Assume that you update this table, update stock detail table, and set where is the set quantity available, q available, quantity available, where is this quantity available, okay, is equal to, okay, whatever quantity available with you minus q required. Okay, so this is it. Okay, very important. Which one where this product number, remember, you cannot if you just write this and execute without putting a where condition, hope you are being warned against that. If you don't put the where condition, all the records will be updated within no time. Okay, so you have to specify the where condition. Remember, when in real life, whenever you are using the update statement, see to it that the condition is proper. Otherwise, you will end up in updating something that you are not supposed to update it. After that, I'm going to give a beautiful message to the user saying that transaction completed. Okay, I'm going to say transaction completed. So the user knows that, okay, something happened, not Q, the transaction completed. So at least they must know that something has happened. Okay, and then I'm going to say end if. Okay, this is it. Okay. Now the question is, I said I have to raise an exception. So I raise an exception. Now because I said raise exception here, I am supposed to write the exception here. So let's write that exception. What is the exception that we are supposed to write? So what is the exception? I'm going to write it here itself. So it is here only. What is the exception? So exception is, what is the exception? When you find that even this exception is raised, that is a low stock. When this exception is raised, when low stock exception is raised, then what is that you are supposed to do? So that is the question. Now, according to them, you're not supposed to do anything. According to them, you say that no sufficient stock. So this is what they are expecting you to do it. So you just provide this statement. Now you can't just type like this, no sufficient stock. You can't write like this. You have to put it in a beautiful DBMS dot output statement. There you are supposed to do it. So put it inside DBMS and put all, make it beautiful. Okay. So this is what we are supposed to do it. Okay. So let me just run it and just see whether the things are working fine or not. Okay. I'm going to start with the declare statement. Okay. And I'm going to just copy it, Control C it, and Control V here. I'm going to just close this one. It's not really required because that was use for explanation purpose. Let me go over here, Control A, Control V, and I'm going to just run it. See whether it's going to take okay. Quantity is -4. I said -4. I just submit it. This time at least I must get okay, you get a message saying that quantity must be positive. Why? Because I gave -4 last time. I had shown you if you have the quantity required is less than 0, then you say quantity must be positive. So that is what you have. Okay, now let me run one more time, and let me show you this one. Okay, so here I have 30 items. I'm going to reduce 5 items from here. Okay, 5 items, I'm going to reduce it. Okay, so let me run it. I'm going to come back and just run it here, and if everything is proper, I must get a message saying that transaction is completed. When is the transaction completed? The transaction is completed because quantity required that I gave is 5, and quantity available, I have not refreshed it, was 30. Okay, so that is why quantity required is greater than quantity available. So I mean was less than quantity available. Then you went and updated this stock. So the current stock was 30 was there. You have to reduce 5 out of it. Okay, so if I just refresh it, let me go back and let's get it back. You notice that it is 25. From 30, you reduce 5. Okay. After that, you gave a beautiful statement saying that the transaction is completed. Now, there is one additional thing that you are supposed to do it. And what is that one additional thing? I'm going to just run it and I'm going to show you. Let me run it. Now, you see that if there is a good student, they will type only this 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, because only those product numbers are there. But there are also very good students, brilliant students are there. What they are going to do is, let me type 106. You notice that 106 is not there in this list. Okay, this is positive, so there is no problem. But 106 is not there in that list. So what's going to happen if I just run it? So let's say if you start running it, what is going to happen? Let me, where is it gone? Okay, let me run it. When you run it, you end up in much bigger trouble, and what you get is an exception called as no data found. This is an exception you are going to get. So what the Oracle says that you said quantity available, quantity required, all these things you said, but there is no such data there, such a record does not exist. So this is an exception raised by Oracle, and we are supposed to tackle even that exception. So I have tackled low stock exception. This was my personal exception that I created, but Oracle has its own exception, and one such exception is no data. What was it? No data found. This is an exception that is raised by the Oracle. So let's handle that also. So I'm going to say when no underscore data underscore found. Okay, when this happens, okay, then I'm going to show a beautiful error message. That's it. Remember, in real life, showing an error message will not solve the problem. Even if you have problem in life, and if you yell at the world saying that you have a problem, nobody is going to solve the problem. So by showing a message saying that there is an exception, the program will not do any useful things to the user. Okay, you are supposed to handle that. Okay, if possible, you have to go for the other course of action. So you must take the alternative course of action. If something exception happens, how does your program tackle that? That is very important. Not just showing a beautiful error message saying that I got an exception. So what? Oracle also has gave you the same exception. So is there a fun in showing something in beautiful English? So people can understand. Without this, also people can understand that there was no data was there. Okay, so in real life, but during the practicals examination, don't try to uh, go for overthinking. That's not required. For practical exam, you can just say product number So it does not exist. Does not exist in the database. If you want to write all the statement, you write it. If you are good in English, you can type it very fast. You type it. Otherwise, you just say that product number does not exist. But in any reality, this is not going to solve the problem. Okay, so that is it. You must understand that. So let's go ahead. And there will be one other problem. We'll just show you the other problem. First, let me solve this problem. Control A, Control V. Hope I copied everything properly. Let me run it. Okay. Let me run this one. Okay. Now I have the, you know very well, there is nothing called 106. So I'm going to run this one with 106 and I should get a beautiful message saying that error product number does not exist. But did it solve my problem? The answer is no, it didn't solve my problem. Let me rerun again. And now I'm going to go with one other problem. What is that one other problem? Where is this one? Where is this one? Okay. One other problem. Look at this one, 101. I'm going to go with this 101 and I'm going to say I need 25 items. So if this transaction succeeds, what's going to happen is it's going to reduce 25 out of it. If you sell all the 25 items, what's going to happen is you're going to sell all the items. That means your stock will be zero. But what is the problem? You have one constraint. Where is that constraint gone? Whether it is going to show. Constraint is, you notice that there is a constraint saying that quantity available must be greater than zero. So there is one constraint. Now let's see whether it's going to do that thing. Whether Oracle is checking for that particular thing. I say 101 and I say I want all of them. Give me all of them. Make clear your stock. Give me all the items. So if I say that, and if I try to submit this one, what am I going to achieve? I'm going to get a error message, this time from the again exception, saying that you violated that constraint. What was the constraint? The constraint was, where is that constraint gone? Quantity available must be greater than zero. Okay. There is this constraint that you have to take care. How do you take care of that particular constraint? Now, how to take care of this one is, if the, where is the exception I am raising? If it is equal to that. So last time what did I do? There was a, look at here, there was a, let me go here. There was 25 items were there and I demanded all the 25 items. So quantity required and quantity available, both of them were same. There were 25 items available and I demanded that you give me all the 25 items. If you do that, stock is going to become zero. And when the stock becomes zero, it's going to violate the constraint that says the quantity available must be greater than zero. Now you may say that, what is the problem? Why don't you sell all the items and clear your stock? But according to their question, they said that quantity must be a positive number. Zero is not a positive number. So there is a problem. Okay. So what am I supposed to do? What I've done is I said that if this quantity required is equal to quantity available, then also raise an exception. If it is 25 is equal to 25, quantity required is 25, quantity available is also 25, then also raise an exception. So this is, I put one equal sign, extra equal sign there. Let me go ahead and let me get this one, Control C, and hope I copied everything there. Control A, Control V, and let me run it. Okay, and this time let me bring it here. Let's look at this one. So I'm demanding, now there are 25 items are there, 101. Look at this 101. So 101. So this is 101. Available is 25. I am demanding 25. Give me 25 out of 25. So all the 25 items you give me, if I say that, what am I going to get? Okay, if I run it now, I am going to get that no sufficient stock are available. Even though 25 were there, but there is a constraint that restricts us from doing it. So you may say that why can't you sell 25 items is because of the question that they have asked. Quantity available should be zero. According to them, you cannot make zero stock. At least one item must be there in the stock. Why, how, where, it is not our problem. They have given the question like that. We will solve the problem according to their question, not according to our thinking and our imagination. Okay, that's all in this video. We will meet again in the next class. Thank you.